head. So with that as a background, sisters and brothers, I'm just going to ask you to welcome our sister. She likes to call herself the roots doctor, which she is. She is a nurse with midwife, whether you believe it or not. She visits Africa ritually every year, specifically Senegal. That's why she was so powerful when we got her in July, because she had just returned from Senegal and she was kicking. Sisters and brothers, our spirit, Zul.
Watch that. I don't let people get too close. That's all I got. I just want to clear up something. I will not take his head. That would have to be something else, and you all would be in charge of that. I don't take our heads for that kind of stuff. I know. But what he's talking about, me being fired up when I walked in the door, he flashed me with the camera, so I flashed him. But I won't tell you what I flashed him with. Okay, so that's what happened. Okay. Toyota said he saw what I flashed, but I hope he did. Okay. I didn't see this board here before, and I don't know if they have any chalk. And I'm going to try to stay on this symbol, this topic of symbolism, or some symbols. There's a lot of symbols. And I noticed today in the room how we kind of merge towards colors. It's 4 or 5 of us with the color teal. Or this particular. Baba Shinda is one. There was another brother sitting here. There's another brother here. And the top of your hat is teal. Okay? These are not only very mystical colors, these are high power colors. These are colors worn by ancestors. These are colors coming from home. And these colors do things to you. When you see them, they bring up an aura of majesty. All right? And I was going to wear purple, but purple puts me more in authoritative, like I just want to watch. You know, so that's like when I go to the prison system, I'll wear purple because they're all in this deep blue with faded out pants or whatever, I don't know. But they're not colorful. They're just made to be down and authoritative looking. When I go to the movies, and I go to the movies twice a week, so people see me going to the movies and they think I'm going to the movies to be entertained. I'm really going to be edutained. And the things at the movies, believe it or not, they have to give us the information. When I say they, I'm talking against system, okay? They don't have to tell us how they're giving it to us. They just have to make sure they give it, because they are following the prophecy. This system of government follows the prophecy. They're not slow on anything that they're doing to us. They're up to date on what they're doing, all right? I'm trying to get this tape called The Black Crystal. Anybody see The Black Crystal? Mostly people think it was for children. The Dark Crystal. The Dark Crystal. I meant the Dark Crystal. Okay, and I really wanted that tape because I wanted people who are Islamically inclined to get this tape. And I'm saying Black Crystal, but it's really a piece from the Qibla. It's really the Black Stone. Okay, and this piece that supposedly these two little imp type creatures have authority over. They don't even know they have authority over it. They represent us. So everybody's trying to get this dark essence, and it really is melanin. And they are dying because they can't get this elixir. I mean, they're all buzzards. All of them deal with bureaucracy. The government officials, the people in the White House, and they all are buzzards. And you see them, they're different type of birds and buzzards. And their intestines are outside the body, and it's all messed up. It just kind of looks like regurgitated madness. But in order for them to look beautiful and nice, they have to have some of this elixir from this black stone. Okay, and we're the ones that hold it. So now we're dealing with a Muppet-looking movie. The creatures, big face, big Muppet faces and noses, and they real slow. And the brothers are represented by real slow creatures creeping. They just down. You know how they Amos and that, Yazagana? And you get tired of looking at them being so slow. But they had all of the necessary information to run the whole universe. And the one thing that people, when they were watching it, they were souped up on how ugly these creatures were. But nobody dealt with that anybody that was incorrect that got near them was made to fall and prostrate. This is again why I wanted the Muslims to get it. They not bowing to the man or the images, but they were bowing and falling down to right. Okay? And in this particular movie, when you see them walking across the desert, trying to get to this so-called White House, but it was really a structure that held all the Democrats, Republicans, everybody was in here. But they couldn't wait. And the little boy who thought he was the only one left alive, came to find out there was a female too. And they really put the two pieces together. So they were looking for these two creatures because they knew one of them could save them. But the system was in an uproar. They couldn't deal. So coming across the desert, they were walking. And we do a dance called Lamba. And the Lamba dance is done for birth, marriages, puberty, right, different passages of life, insanity. Okay, and while they were walking, you could hear the music in the background. But even if you didn't hear the music, the movement is like when brothers are walking and you walking like this. They was doing that, and that's a Lamba step. And what you're doing is you walking. Those things coming to you from God, you taking. Those things are not good, you getting off. Okay, so while they were walking, and let's say you hold the camel in the Middle East and in Africa, they call the camel the ship of the desert, and you could see the flare of the garment. And when you hold the camel, and when you're looking, if you're in the distance and you see people traveling, you see this movement. Okay, so you see this, and that's the Lamba. All right, they're walking. They're going to make Hajj, and you saw these creatures doing this movement, and all the things that were adversary against them were waiting to try to demolish them at the presence of them coming through the door. Okay, because they wanted to get the elixir. But all those that were corrupt couldn't see him, couldn't look at him, had to prostrate, had to fall down. And these two impish creatures had the black stone, and they had the elixir. So they would tie him up and drain him of the elixir, which we call melanin. And they would take a hit and get beautiful and get young. And they were gorgeous, and when they would wear down, they have to get some more. And they were showing that it had to be from them, else they wouldn't survive. Again, the symbols dealing with extracting from us. That movie Dune, the same thing. Did anybody see that movie Dune? Did you see the big guy? And he was like spinning all up in the ceiling and stuff. And he was trying to get this stuff so he could be normal, natural, all right. Same thing. Same thing. If you saw Battlestar Galactica, did you watch that? They were looking for the 13th tribe. And they were all dressed up in Egyptian garb, the headpieces, the medallion, the clothes. Lorne Green, he was playing that part. He was playing serious Pharaoh piece. And they're looking for 13th tribe. And back in the 60s, a lot of the people took the name of the lost found tribe, or they took the name Shabazz. Okay, and that's the symbol of the lost found tribe. And the 13, you put a 1 and a 3, you get a B. They don't want to deal with that time, 13th hour. They don't want to deal with that, any kind of information coming from that tribal. Okay, but a lot of times the Muslim brothers and sisters use the 13th tribe, or they'll say the lost found tribe. If they're going to use words like tribe, then we weren't using the term that they're using now in their religious order. If tribe is coming from us, it's coming from way beyond 7th and 8th century. Okay, we didn't use terminology tribe. We use nation. Okay, so for us to use the word tribe, it's on the right road to going back towards something ancestral, but it had nothing to do with religion. Okay, we need to now get into a phase of, we need a universal place where we can go and not deal with what you have to wear and how you got to look to be involved in that space during that time. Because if you were tribal, you were considered ethnic group from some place. And you had a nation and the people and the land and the religion and the language and the culture and the food all wrapped up in that particular symbol, which was your symbol to represent your tribe. So we may see the Ashanti stool. We can't give that to the Senegalese. We may see the Saba drum. We can't give that to the Ghanaian people. They got their own drum. So if you don't really know the culture of the people, then you can't really place yourself. We can't place ourselves, in a particular country in Africa right now because we've been brought from so many places. But to tell you this, we are the gifted and the blessed ones because we have the serious mixture of them all. And that's where the understanding is where I want to come from today. Everybody, I heard Tupac with the song, All Eyes on Me. They all watching us because we are most feared. We're the symbol that represents all of what was and what's going to be. All right? So now if you want to say you're from Ghana or Nigeria or Guinea or Mali, All that's fine. But then I call commandments, in Egypt, okay? You have negativities, but to know that they are symbols that they use here every day. I watched that new building down by Penn Station to your far left. I think it's it says the first bank now. That big pink bank they got down by Symphony Hall. See, I watched them move the wall in for that bank. I watched them move the generator in. The generator, and I'm swearing to you because I saw this generator. A tugboat, when a tugboat pulls something, it go real slow, coming down Broader Market. And it was on this real long, platform. You could look at it and see it was a serious piece of iron. And the thing that was pulling it was like a tugboat. But on the wall was hieroglyphs. And I said, whoa, where are they taking that? And it was slow. And it was on Juma. It was a Friday. And all of the religious Muslim people were downtown. And nobody stopped to look except for me. I was wondering if everybody else was going to stop and say, everybody was fixed. I guess Juma going to make salat. I waited for that. That thing was the whole length of, the donut shop? From Broad Street to the next block, which is Branford Place. That was that length. And it was the same height. The same height. And I was wondering, where they going with this thing? They went down and over McCarter Highway and then right there in that spot. I couldn't wait for them to put this thing in the ground. But I was wondering, and I'm asking where they going with it. It's in that wall. That wall is nice pink glittery granite now. It's in that wall. And it was an original piece. This was not no makeup stuff. This was not somebody doing artwork and they're using it. If they was, they would have let it be seen. They blessed their buildings. They put protection around their buildings. They know about sacrifices. They know about ceremonies. They know about rituals. Okay, something is missing here that we are not looking at. Like that 5-pointed star that's downtown of Broader Market. I mentioned this before. Broader Market has had a 5-pointed star down there for the longest, in the middle of the street. Most people don't see it. It's been there. It looks just like a ram head sitting right there. Right in front of, you know what a donut shop is? Broader Market. You get ready to cross the street. Just get in the middle of the street and you'll see it. So if they want to do anything as far as getting a certain amount of people out, that is X marks the spot. Star marks the spot. It's not a 6-pointed star. Something that we can relate to as a people. It's a 5-pointed star. It's there. Okay, so when you do this little head, then you got the arms, and then you got the feet. Where's the penis? It's missing. It's castrated. Okay, we do know that certain people use a 6-pointed symbol, but that's not theirs either. But theirs is fixed. You can't move it away from itself. Ours is movable. It's like this, and then the bottom one is like this. Okay? So what's on top goes to the bottom. What's on bottom goes to the top. And it just goes and goes and goes. Our symbol for it is here. Our point points down for females here. Male point points up here. Okay, the two together make the one. We need to know that. Our hair grows down and male's hair grow up. We need to know that. There's law of oppositions. Okay? Men's body, this is used to be, because I see a lot of sisters now with this, but men's body used to be square, and our bodies are round or containers. Okay? Womb, mom. Round words, container words. All right? If we read into some of the scriptures, you'll see, or you'll be able to, if you'll learn it to a point of past 4th grade reading. And if you're not, then we got to have some remedial reading, because you got to know, you have to be able to read to understand. There's nothing left out. It's there. If you just don't know that it applies to you. Okay? From the darkness into the light. All right? When you deal with, we can deal with genetics if we want, but then that's another thing. The XX. X is complete. X, Y. Y is a broke X. Y'all said we come from you. How come there's no more of us coming from your rib? You have to stop this nonsense. Because if you don't, it's never ever going to stop. All right? I don't know if is there any chalk? I could draw something. Because sometimes you have to see this. We deal with science every day. And this is not to knock brothers down. I'm not trying to, this has nothing to do with, Okay, I'm not trying to belittle you. I just want you to understand. And for brothers and sisters who read the Quran and say, and we have made you, who was we? If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one, we have made you and put you in a fixed place until your due time. Where's the fixed place? And when is your due time? When you're born. We can get back with the we if you want, but that's something else too. Okay, and let us make man in our images. There's a whole bunch of stuff right there in there that we need to get with, because a lot of people are being ruled and operated just by stuff like that. And this is a serious black hole. This is a power unit. This is a generator. We have to know that submission to something good and right does not mean it has to be male. Okay? But the only way you can go on is if you understand some of the higher order. And so you get people who get paid money to be higher ordered and hired to don't say nothing. All right? So I'm just going to put some things here. Okay? Now we know a circle. We consider a circle. I can't draw a perfect circle, meaning you don't see any beginning and no end. Okay? But for us that deal with the oneness or the one God, don't put no name for me. I can't give God a name. I can't give the Creator a name. I feel unworthy to call the Creator of the seen, the unseen, everything that I don't know nothing about and can't even fathom a name. But for people who belong to religious orders, if it's comfortable for you to have a name for the Creator, fine. Don't choke my neck, because it's still that takes too much time. So if we have the God in the middle, that means the one that has no beginning, right, and no end. For people that take Shahada, the one. You see Malcolm on the poster doing this. The one that has no beginning and no end. The word for that is Shahad or Shahada. You bearing witness. When somebody's shaking their finger like this, it's like without a doubt, you know better. They doing this without even thinking about it. Okay? We know that the circle, in the middle of the circle is the nucleus. That's the strongest, most integral part of any cell. So if something comes from the middle and come out, okay, and this is what basically African people do, okay, we'll find stuff out here, whether it's homewares, clothes, we get from the outside, we bring it into the inside. Other societies, people take from the center and take it away, take it out. They take it away from, okay? Well, this nucleus is what gives us power. Even with melanin, the core, the essence of any cell is the center. That's what comes away from jewelry, sex, more sex. Then you want a car, and then you want another car in the house, and then that's it. You're 40 years old, you finished. You ain't done nothing. And more sex. And ain't done nothing. And haven't contributed anything to your people. And that's because they have made us mutilate our gene structure, okay, where we don't be wanting for anything because we don't have any knowledge of anything else. So that means your generation after you and after you have no knowledge of the pyramid builders, the Sphinx builders, have no knowledge, of certain things where it was already coded, but it's lost now. This don't pertain to us. This is somebody else. This is another people. So you are too far gone. So when you opened up, you dealt with time. We know we don't create time. We know we're being allowed to participate in what we call this time. But as far as our knowledge and understanding, we have always been involved in the creation. We don't know of a time when we weren't created. Okay, they're telling us that there was a big boom, what they say, the big boom effect? Bang effect. So something over here met with something over here, and they met and they said, bang, in the universe. Now how they know, where did this thing come from and this thing come from to go bang? Okay, and see, I have to deal with this because a lot of the young brothers and brothers who also dealt with 5%ers, they deal with calling themselves the creator. Okay, so I have to be up on what people thinking and why they thinking what they thinking, because that's the only way we can find out where our power lies. All right? For me to say that I am the creator, I said the creator of what? And then they'll go through this big spiel about all the stuff that they can do being the black man. What created you? What created your blood? Your veins, your arteries. What created your toes? What created so many things that you tell me you create? I can understand you being creative. And I can understand you being allowed to be creative. But I can't see anything that you've created. Okay? Meaning your presence creates vibes and emotions in me. And I witness it. But in order for me to witness it and express it, I got to deal with this. And then it goes here. Okay? So the Big Bang thing means we have to, and for people who are atheists too, okay, people who are atheists too, because atheists don't believe that there's a creator? Is that what I'm, okay. That means they have an answer to, or they have a name or something that created, they have a name to what the creator of whatever it is we can't create. Okay. Now, if this is matter, and I remember reading this in the school books, matter cannot be created or destroyed. Anybody else read that? Yes. Now listen. Matter cannot be created or destroyed. Matter in itself is creative material. Matter has substance. Matter has substance. So now if you can, I'm trying to break down the essence of substance so you know that you are creative matter. That the matter that went to make you is a substance that was created. Okay? And because we're all various size, weight, heights, colors, different emotions, different stress, different strengths in other areas, we have to know that whatever, I don't like to say who, because again, who means flesh to me. So whatever created the essences of us with this flesh, this is matter. This exists. I can put this in my hand. Okay? Then we have people who say matter that you can't see. Now we're dealing with gas. If you call it something, that means it exists. That means you know it. You don't have to see it. Okay? These symbols are not seeable, but they are understood. So if we're dealing with a matter, even if it's you can't even see it, a dip like a sand, you can't even. I'm gonna get to that too. And then you got one way over here somewhere, millions of light years away. For how long, whatever it took for them to go bang. To me, that was some order. Meaning, the time it took for those things, then we don't have no time, 400 million, 6,000 billion, trillion years. That, to me, is too phenomenal for me to even fathom. I can't even, somebody said $1 trillion, I still wouldn't know what it looked like. Okay? But for these things to be created, and we can't see it, but it existed. For somebody to say it went bang. Whenever they say it did something, believe me, they know it existed. And they knew what existed even before that because they have knowledge of it being left by one of us. Okay? Because they had no records and no recollection because they wasn't here. They were not in the time. They were not in the existent time because they come from us. Okay? Those are facts. Because if it's not a fact, we deal with different tribes, we deal with different nations, we deal with different people, different countries. This new thing, countries and people and languages, all that stuff basically is very, very new. You know, even if you said 6,000 years old, that's new. That's still us. They didn't start showing up. When I say they, again, the system that rules and controls most of this hemisphere that we live in. And if there's another hemisphere, whatever. I don't know about that either. Western hemisphere. But see, then you got the middle and the eastern, okay? But they all was us. Okay, and if you look at the world, what they've shown you at the world, you had the United States of America here. Okay, Florida, okay. All right, and then we have, right here, we have South America fitting right in here, right? And then we have Africa that's fitting like a peanut pie land over here, the land. Okay, fitting. Okay, I think South America is a little bit lower. Below, yeah. Right? It's a little bit lower down here. And then Africa is fitting here like a brain or a baby in utero. Then you have Italy and that's book or whatever. You got France and Spain, everything coming over here. Then you got Russia, you're dealing with over here, India. Okay, then you deal with Antarctica, little places up here. And then you come back around, you got Vietnam on little islands and yeah, okay. The thing is, Australia, supposedly they're saying down under, right? Down under in here somewhere. Okay, I don't want to forget Madagascar, but see, this is a serious place here. Madagascar is serious because they're just like the so-called Aborigine, the brother and sister from Australia. Those are Don King people. You ever notice Don King's face hair? They look like that in Madagascar. That's how they look. They're real physical features. If he was to look at those people, he'll know that they are his tribe. They're his people. If you look at the map, you'll see that all this used to be, all this was connected. You see, remember, this is right in here. This is right in here. All this right here, you see the little islands and stuff, Greece and stuff, all this is hovering here. All of this is connected to a land mass. The water is basically new for this time. I was reading somewhere where, and I'm trying to remember what book I saw it in because it's hard for me to remember, but you're going to be able to walk in the desert and sit on the grass. So our word for desert didn't fit that time. Okay? When I was in Egypt, and you look at the Sphinx, and I'm in my heart, you know how you say, in the 20s and the 30s, I've seen pictures of the Sphinx. It's just the head. Then the 40s and early 50s, you see here. Okay, and then you start seeing this, right? I picture this going like this. I picture something like this. In other words, this is here, and something else is down here. I can't imagine it just sitting on the sand. With the way that the technology was developed there, everything, you knew whatever's on top was on the bottom. Stuff was on the bottom. When I stood and looked at the Sphinx from way far, you could see, just like when you go to the Grand Canyon, the different striations in the rock. Now, striations to me mean hundreds of thousands of pounds of pressure and water. Was the Sphinx built under the water and came up, or was it on the land and when it was then the water came and it went down, or it stayed still underneath the water and then the water receded? Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So, if the Sphinx is there through all of this, and the structure that's around it is rock, then I start looking for areas of maybe the Sphinx was housed. Can you imagine something that big being put inside of something? If everything else that was glorified to them during that time was protected, they have a certain amount of time you're dealing with for exposure. You need it to be exposed now. You need for certain things to be eroded then and now. Certain things need to be shown now. Okay, for you to have the three major pyramids sitting there together, and the stuff that's covering these pyramids was taken from areas like as far as Baltimore, from here to Baltimore. For people to not be that technologically advanced, it's unbelievable. And then, since we have no understanding of, we may not want to deal with this, that a creative force can put us where we're supposed to be now based on where we came from. How can you have that type of civilization here if we're not here to build that type of civilization?